What's that? Is that
Barry, we have an emergency distress call from another Earth.
where?
Earth 525.
How did it? Oh. What's happening? Hey, did you find anything? No.
And that's totally the official reason why the Flash can't help solve the problems in Time-Space Rebuild. Hello everyone, Rain here. I'm going to mix things up a bit with this news update video as I had the chance to play the Time-Space Rebuild demo and thought it could be worthwhile to give my impressions on it for those of you who are still sitting on the fence about this game. Just to be clear, this is my impressions of the demo and not the full game, which I may consider doing a review on. If you're interested purely in the character bios, feel free to skip to the timestamp which will be in the description box below. So let's get straight into it. Firstly, the story about how the main character Anson is tied to the doomsday situation is clearly a mystery that is likely going to take up half or 3/4 of the main narrative. Maybe as a reflection of Anson's amnesia, Chapter 1 doesn't offer much information to the player about the context, which became clearer once I did research on the character bios, such as on the two groups, the Parliament and the sect who are after the player. This is also the same case for former agent Nora Chen and the mysterious Japanese lady Arya, where there are some hints of their deeper connection to Anson, but again, it's likely to be slowly revealed through the game. Despite the slow reviews, the plot is intriguing enough for me to want to play and find out more. Secondly, and probably one of the most important aspects, what about the romantic developments? This is a bit trickier to gauge just purely on the demo because there aren't sufficient romantic scenes to give a fair evaluation. Nora Chen's scenes are more reflective and serious with hints of their past relationship prior to Anson's amnesia, while Arya's scenes are more on the playful, flirty side. But based on the other gameplay footage and clips which provide more hints on this subject, I think there is significant potential for the full game. Thirdly, I did enjoy, compared to most romance FMV games, that there are more action sequences, and thankfully the QTE inputs don't demand a ballet dance of your fingers like you need for Mortal Kombat Fatality. It suits the science fiction genre and I think would make this game stand out from the crowd. Fourthly, developers Innovation Dream have used an AI voice feature particularly to do English dubs for majority of the characters, with the exception of being able to retain Tsubasa Mai's original Japanese language performance for Arya. Sometimes the AI voices are not too bad, but there are times when the tone or delivery doesn't match the emotional context of a scene.
How dare you, fat bag!
How dare you, fat bag! How dare you, fat bag!
And adds unintentional flavor to badly translated lines.
I need to tear your underwear.
What?
Unfortunately, in the demo at least, you're not allowed to mix and match, like having English subtitles with the original languages spoken by the various actors. It's either you have to use the English AI voices with English subtitles, or hear the largely original Chinese language performances but with Chinese subtitles. I don't like that players are forced to choose between the two, and I hope this isn't the case for the final game. Alright, let's dive into the character bios. The first main love interest the main character Anson spends time with is the lone wolf agent Nora Chen, or Chen Nan, played by Xue Ziqi. Her bio describes her as tall and attractive.
Let me get this straight. You're telling me a group of heavily armed soldiers is not able to take out a former agent wearing hardly anything, armed with only a handgun?
Yeah, she's like a real-life version of Jill Valentine from that old game Resident Evil 3 Nemesis.
Do you have any clues on where Nora and Anson are at?
Not exactly, but she does know how to look good while kicking butt.
You're demoted.
Her facial expressions exude a coldness that keeps strangers away. Her parents are both devout believers of the sect who sacrifice their lives for a chance to reach the promised land. Nora learned the skills of survival and combat from her adoptive father Arya throughout multiple eras. This has made her independent, decisive, resourceful, and pragmatic. She also thrives on making plans and being in control. Having lived on the brink of life and death for so long, Nora cherishes her own life. She doesn't tolerate topics like faith, missions, and friendships. After the death of her adoptive father, she grew to hate the sect's fanatical beliefs and decided to join the more rational parliament. She chose Anson to be her partner due to his power and to reduce the risk of accidents during missions. But Anson's compassion often brings trouble to their missions, creating distance between the two of them. However, their bond forged through experiencing close calls with death has resulted in them being able to compromise while agreeing to disagree. Nora would gradually accept some of Anson's views, even choosing to defect from the parliament with him and embark on a journey of exile into the unknown. The demo seems to suggest that Nora is married to Anson based on this flashback scene and Nora's beating around the bush tone when she talks about her wedding ring, but of course this could be a misdirection. Other than her wedding dress, we see Nora dressed in this purple outfit, this black tube top, and noticeably with her hair completely down in this sleepwear attire. Secondly, we have Arya, the mysterious lady appearing in bits and pieces of the demo, played by Tsubasa Mai. She's the only love interest who doesn't have a released bio, suggesting the mystery about her is central to the main plot. From this promo image, we know she's 25 years old and is an introverted, intuitive, feeling and judging personality type. We know from Tsubasa Mai's interview that Arya resides in the main character Anson's consciousness. With the sci-fi setting, I thought maybe this could be an AI version of Arya, which would be pretty cool. Oh, on second thought, maybe that's not a good idea. Based on the available footage where you can see her looking disheveled in a post-apocalyptic setting, I guess maybe that's where you could find the real Arya perhaps, but I'm not too sure. Other than what we have seen in the demo and release footage, we see Arya in what looks like a breakfast scene and an outfit that's not at all like Mai Shiranui from the King of Fighters and Fatal Fury series. No. Thirdly, we have Charlotte or Sulin, played by Beijing Film Academy graduate Brandis. Her bio begins by stating at first glance you will never see the hardships of life reflected on Charlotte, only the elegance of an aristocrat. But once you get close to her, you will understand her cheerfulness, sincerity, and spontaneity. Brandis' interview adds that Charlotte is gentle, outgoing, and enthusiastic. The many sides of her personality are only shown to Anson, such as a cuteness, craftiness, and the reasons why she hides her stubbornness and clumsiness from others. In another interview with Brandis, she adds that
the person who does not show her feelings in front of others. But in this scene when Charlotte invited Anson over to dinner, I think it kind of brings Charlotte to life.
She and Anson are childhood sweethearts, having grown up together and leaving an indelible mark on each other. However, their lives went separate ways as they became adults. Charlotte became a decision maker as a member of parliament, while Anson was chosen to be a raven, a tool to carve through history. It was at this point that their ideas began to drift apart. In the era where Charlotte was born, Parliament had transformed from an underground group into an institution of power people aspire to. As a descendant of a famous family, Charlotte was groomed to be a parliamentary leader from a young age. She has great respect for Parliament's code of conduct and believes that sacrificing the few is a necessary step for humanity to achieve a better future. Her ideas and beliefs had never been tested through trials, giving her an arrogance that initially lacked understanding of the sufferings of ordinary people. That is, until she got involved in missions and realized how the path to power can make one distant from the burdens of life. This resulted in her changing her mind under Anson's guidance. We see Charlotte dressed in other outfits beyond reviewed gameplay footage, such as an exercise attire while she's practicing boxing, this grey sleepwear in these two photos, which if I was to guess, could be a scene of Charlotte wanting to rekindle her romance with Anson perhaps? Interestingly, this promo shot shows Charlotte being injured with 3 scratches and a bruise on her face. And yes, I know I'm zooming in on her chest area, but trust me, this is medically educational. We see another wound on her chest area, and based on the similarities to the outfit worn in these scenes, I believe Charlotte and Anson will be caught in the crossfire, likely by the opposing sect group. We also see Charlotte looking more disheveled in a uniform in the Doomsday sort of scene. And again, when she's unconscious in this scene, which I presume this is Anson in a sort of chamber with Arya. Next up, we have Yolanda Gong or Gong Ro, played by arguably the most familiar cast member, Châu, who previously played Nika from Tomorrow's Love Puzzle and will also be in the upcoming Surveillance. Her bio describes her as gentle, virtuous, and exquisite. She's almost the perfect image of a traditional East Asian wife. Born into a traditional East Asian family, she was brought up and taught to be a good wife and mother to her future family. But as she grew up, her desire for independence was awakened. After repeatedly refusing an arranged marriage planned by her family, she chose to leave her family to live a free life. She decided to become a nurse, and under her attentive care, many patients recovered fully. This was when she met and saved a dying man called Armin out of the goodness of her heart. Unknown to her, Armin was a time-traveling disciple of the sect and was a terrorist! Hey, this is serious! Anyway, Armin's true mission was to kill anyone and everyone in the hospital. Yolanda never thought her kindness would lead to such a tragedy. The massacre's lone survivor, a child, became Yolanda's path to redemption. Unfortunately, the child's injuries were too severe and he or she passed away 3 years after the incident. Afterwards, Yolanda became a disciple of the sect, hoping to right her wrongs in the promised land. Wait a minute, didn't a member of the sect cause the massacre at the hospital? Why did Yolanda join the sect? Maybe she doesn't know about it and only finds out about it later in the story? We'll have to wait and see. In interviews with actress Châu, we learned that Yolanda is a maid to the Carter family, but she sees herself as more than that.
她是在卡特家族里，跟卡特家族的长女是特别好的姐妹关系。她会照顾她，给她做好吃的，还会保护她，不被别人欺负。第二个
We see Yolanda dressed in a different outfit from most of the release footage, and based on the context, I think this is where she gets kidnapped. In these photos, Yolanda is dressed in different sleepwear, including a light green sleepwear attire, a white colored one, and maybe the same one minus the jacket in what I assume is either an intimate moment or happy ending scene with Anson. We also see her dressed in this white blazer and skirt combination, although I'm unsure of the context, but I'm suddenly feeling hungry for ice cream now. Be right back. Last but not least, we have Ivy, played by Sofia Semi-Holovska, who may be
Rush.
That's a little presumptuous, is it not, billionaire Yuri? Her bio describes Ivy as, despite belonging and trying to act like the eldest daughter of a noble family, she is unable to hide her innocence, timidness, and reservedness. Sent to live and be raised in her maternal uncle's family by her mother, growing up under the household of someone else who is not her parents have left her feeling insecure and inadequate from young. After her mother's death, her uncle's family treated her even more poorly. Basically gender swapping the wicked stepmother from Cinderella, right?
I was hoping for something a little more original.
Yes, Reapy Cheap. Anyway, the bio continues that Ivy became incredibly overcautious to survive such pressures and rejections, but that hasn't stopped her from wanting even more love and recognition. She had always imagined her father based on descriptions provided by her mother, but never imagined her father would be a rich tycoon, nor did she have to compete for a family fortune with siblings she had never met before. Her imagination of what a family turned out to be completely different, with a sick and dying father and siblings whose intentions and actions are nothing but cruel. Only the presence of her personal maid Yolanda and Anson would provide her with some stability in this battle of life and death. Anson would fill the absence of a mature, trustworthy and dependable man in Ivy's life, leading to romantic feelings from a young and naive girl. It is a love that is so deep and strong that Anson's repeated absences would not shake it. Spoiler alert! We know that her father dies in the story and that his last words are,
When he was dying, he told me his last words, that if you will not kill, you will be killed.
This suggests Ivy's character arc would involve a hardening of her character's personality. From Yolanda's interview, we know that Anson will become a personal bodyguard to Ivy, and we see that in the teaser trailer in moments where he protects Ivy. Most of her outfits can be seen in the release footage except for this one where she's dressed in jeans and cleaning a shower area, and this brief clip of presumably Ivy based on the blonde hair hanging out with Anson in some sort of night scene. Interestingly, on the official Time Space Rebuild website, we can see there is a 6 main character slot with question marks and the words coming soon. I'm not sure whether this is a genuine tease, as we've seen before in Game of Fate 2, that the older version of Xiao Kui was not even revealed as a love interest until you actually played the full game. On the other hand, it could be an error, as we have seen that the official website wants you to think that Nora Chen is also Yolanda Gong and Charlotte is actually called Charlotte. I'm honestly not sure about this, so I'll put this as a very big question mark. In a twist from my usual news update videos, which are usually done sometime before release, the game is coming out really soon on 20th of May. I don't know whether I will do a review or walkthroughs for the game, but do let me know if that interests any of you. Thanks again for watching, even though the game is coming out soon, and please take care.